Hello, everyone, and welcome to Frontier Opening Bell. It's the start of another weekend, and of course, that's the week this week that takes you all into the month of June. So we've got two more trading sessions this week, and then we'll enter the final month of the second quarter, taking you effectively to the first half of the year. But let's just go straight to look at the markets for last week. The Nigerian market roared 2.09%. We saw big buy-ins, risk on by investors in the shares of FBN Holdings as the financial supermarket recorded a jumbo profit for the full year 2021 and a very decent earnings for the first quarter of the year. The shares of MTN and Airtel Africa and the big names in consumer goods like Unilever, Nigerian breweries also went up during last week. So that gave the market, we crossed 53,000, went slightly above 54,000 on the Nigerian NGX ALSI index. The BRVM climbed 64 basis points. However, the Egyptian market started the week on Sunday with 1.12% in the red. The Nairobi finished on Friday by 26 basis points in the negative 33, while the GSE on Friday climbed 1.44%. And we saw heavy trading across developed and emerging markets around the world, bring down the risk, as it were. And today we're starting the new week also on a positive territory across the Asian region, just to get the new week started. In the meantime, these are the top stories, your top headlines across the East African markets today. The Kenya is looking at Malaysia with the expansion of its avocado exports. In the meantime, prime banks for the first quarter listed on the Nairobi Securities Exchange says its profit went up 17% to about 768 million shillings between January and March, and ARM lenders and creditors are counting their losses about 1.5 billion shillings after the liquidation of the particular financial services company. And DRC, whatever happened, has banned RwandAir from flying across its airspace. DRC, DR Congo, joined East African Community just about 2 months ago. And this is happening just right after joining the East African Community. Whatever it is from Central Africa, the political leaders will have to sit down around this and resolve it. In the meantime, Ethiopia is moving ahead strongly with its new securities exchange, and it says foreign companies are lining up to list on this exchange, which is going to be the newest. Ethiopia already has a very strong commodity exchange for many years. Now it's adding the securities exchange on top of that to be one of the biggest hub for financial services horn of Africa to the north. Okay, let's talk about West Africa very quickly, where the Securities and Exchange Commissioner, the head of the SEC in Nigeria, says regular assessment of policies are needed for West African markets. He was speaking at the just concluded West African Regional Securities Exchanges Cooperation meeting in Accra, Ghana, just as the FDB annual meetings were being held. MTN Nigeria has appointed Mazen Muro as a non-executive director on the board of the telco giant listed on the exchange, while the EFDB late last week, as it was wrapping up its week-long annual meetings for 2022, announced a new Africa Circular Economy Facility. The fund, which has support from Norway and the Dutch, having a whole fund that is set aside to support sustainable economy, climate resilience, energy funding, and for projects across the continent. And Bollore in Cote d'Ivoire, which is of course listed on the Ivorian market, says its net profit dropped down sharply 98%, 84 million CFA in the first quarter of the year. Quite a very negative reporting there. And Cameroon says last week that it's raised about 235 billion CFA franc in the CMAC market. That's the central market for all countries within the Central African region. Let's go to Southern Africa and check in the South African Reserve Bank, which is looking at a new financial framework for monetary policy implementation. The SARB is also looking at a new regime of monitoring and working around banking sector regulation, including liquidation of commercial banks in South Africa. And the spotlight this week, starting from today, is the long-delayed South Africa's employment data. We expect to get that before the end of the week, between tomorrow and Wednesday. And Momentum Retail Life Insurance says it's paid out about roughly 9 billion rand in various claims for 2021. The claims were piling up in South Africa Africa as the epicenter of the COVID-19 pandemic for 2020 and 2021, and insurance companies have been piling up cash because they saw these claims coming. And protesters are rallying in Cape Town over the Shell court case, in which Shell is battling the environment agencies and advocacy groups because of the digging and exploration for oil off the coast of South Africa. Now the protesters are in Cape Town and looking at taking on this British big oil giant. And Zambia is looking to what is raising the daily FX limit for those who want to do transactions. There's a bit of a liquidity crunch, but the new administration in Zambia under President Ichilema is trying to resolve that, by the way. While the meeting with creditors with China, South Africa, and others in the room is scheduled for next month, the new month of June. Keep that in mind. So let's finish off, as always, in North Africa, where the ADQ Holdings allots £10 billion or $10 billion in investment fund for projects in Egypt and Jordan from Abu Dhabi. This is a whole handshake across the Middle East to the largest economy north of the continent, which of course Egypt is. And the UAE is looking to boost investment also in Egypt over $35 billion. That will be over a five-year period. That is quite a chunk of money, looking at specific projects from the United Arab Emirates in Egypt. And the government offerings are major catalyst for capital market. That's according to the chairman of the Egyptian Securities Exchange or Stock Exchange, while Egypt Sovereign Fund has listed 7 deals to produce green hydrogen from Namibia all the way in Southern Africa to Egypt. The new drive is for green hydrogen, blue hydrogen, as the case may be. So Egypt is at the front line of this transition in energy production for Africa. And remember, October is when Egypt will be hosting the COP27, the first time on the African continent. So Egypt is working very hard to be in line, has a good record to show, something to show the rest of the world when it holds that very COP27 big global event later this year. And compulsory health insurance to impact sector profitability in Morocco. That's according to a new report. Morocco is moving forward with a whole lot of compulsory health insurance, which will be good for the insurance sector and overall for profitability of those insurers and the health sector in one of North Africa's biggest and one of Africa's biggest economy as well. So that's the report this morning. Everyone, thanks for listening. It's good to be with you for the start of another week. I'll see you next time. You can watch this show again, as always, on our YouTube. You can subscribe. It's free. At Frontier Africa Reports, our website, frontierafricareports.com, has all our stories, other shows, and articles, and you can watch them. Then, of course, you can read up on all those as well. Go on social media, on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and as well as others, and you can follow us, and we can continue this very conversation. Thank you so much. Have a great day, everyone, and see you next time.